Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the Plush Robot Podcast. My name is Zach, and we're going to talk about it all here. We are going to be talking about music, movies, anime, TV shows, theater, all sorts of nerdy stuff, as well as delving into more general life advice. So, sometimes we may get a little serious now and then, but I want to keep this podcast as very fun and very laid back and just talking about all my shenanigans and all my crazy passions. So I figured I'd start off by introducing a little bit about who I am and where I am right now. So I'm 25 years old, and I graduated from San Jose State University under a theater arts major, and I've got my bachelor's in theater arts. So I've done everything from stagehand work, lightboard operation, soundboard operation for productions of The Crucible and In the Heights, which that show was really a phenomenal show to be working on because I did that as a favor, not for a class or anything, but one of my professors, Andrea, pulled me aside while we were outside of a fire drill out of every place, which was pretty funny. And then she asked if I wanted to do the lightboard work for the production we did of In the Heights. And she asked, like, hey, are you in the lighting class? I'm like, no, but I'll be happy to do it for you guys. And she was very appreciative. And that was kind of like one of the most, as a last hurrah, that was like the best moment of my college career. But a little bit before that, I focused largely on wanting to do filmmaking and everything, which one day I would love to make my own film, but it's just a lot of hassle to go through because when I was in community college, I took a lot of film classes, and sometimes there's going to be a lot of trial and error with the people you work with. There are some people who are going to click. There are some people who you're going to have head-on creative differences, and you just really can't avoid that. And there have been there's only been, I'd say, maybe one or two projects that have just gone totally haywire because there are a couple of people who were working alongside me and a couple of my best friends, like AJ and Manny. We were not seeing eye to eye, and we brought this up to, my professor Clay, and, being a filmmaker himself, he was totally understandable and, got where we were coming from. So my transition from film to theater was I felt like it was the right path to go to because the thing that drew me close to theater was the physicality of it. Just all the hard work, all the sets built, it's just an actual like physical live performance happening in front of you. And I really appreciated that. And like I said, with San Jose State, like that theater building in there, that was like my second home. So whenever I'd go home, like that was one thing, that was my main home, but I practically lived in that theater building pretty much my whole 4 years going there. And this would be a good time to transition into something theater related, the musical Cats. So as you guys know, there was a movie adaptation that came out pretty recently, and I saw it, hang on one second, let me check my calendar, Friday, the 27th, and before, my reaction to Cats was the movie, the trailer, when it dropped. It terrified me. In fact, all of my theater friends who I'm still friends with on Facebook, we all had the same reaction, like, oh my God, what is this? What is this nightmare? Why is this being put into theaters? Help. Yeah, it looked really scary. And there was some weird part in the back of my head that was like, oh my god, I need to go see this train wreck. It's like every bad Nicolas Cage movie that comes out, or regardless, any Nicolas Cage movie, I obviously have to see it because I love a good, just bad theater, film, whatever it is. Like, I'll go see it. Even if it's like The Room or if it's Love Never Dies. Oh, yeah, I actually said that. Love Never Dies. Look, I'm just going to be real. A little off topic. I'm just going to be real. There doesn't need to be a sequel to Phantom of the Opera. I'm sorry. I don't need to know about, oh, spoilers here. I don't need to know about the Phantom and his son having a goddamn carnival. No thanks. But anyway, back to Cats. I sat down in the theater. There were about 5 other people, because I swear to God, nobody is seeing this. No one absolutely is seeing this movie. And for the next hour and 49 minutes, I witnessed the most horrendous, terrifying fever dream I have ever seen in my life. I walked out of there questioning myself and questioning, why did I even pay money to see this? Like, I should have been paid to watch this movie. I will give the movie credit for 2 things that were done well. 2 things. The music was very well done and was very true to the original musical. And the second thing, the choreography. It was very well done. I can tell everyone was trying their ass off with this. But the rest of the movie, I had to look at Jennifer Hudson, Taylor Swift, James Corden, Ian McKellen, Judi Dench, and Jason Derulo watching their human faces pasted onto CG cat bodies. I know they mocap that and everything, but that technology should not be possible. I'm going to say this right here. Cats made the Polar Express, as creepy and weird as some people find the Polar Express's uncanny CG, it made the Polar Express look like a Disney movie. It actually made LA Noire, because I know LA Noire had that same uncanny valley CG thing going to it with the real-time reactions to the faces and everything, made that look normal compared to the absolute atrocity of what whoever studio executive, producer, I don't know, who thought that this was a good idea. You could have easily put every single actor in that movie in makeup and actual cat suits like the original production. You could have easily done that without having to resort to probably scaring me, scaring my future children if I ever showed them this movie. Oh, I probably will. I probably will show them this movie to see, hey, this is how you don't do an adaptation. And that'll scar them for life. But one of my favorite things of all time is looking at the Twitter reactions to the Cats movie, which I'm going to take a look right now. I'm going to go ahead and read these off my phone here from Animated Antic. Cats apparently will lose Universal $71 million. What? Okay, this is the first. Wow. I knew it bombed, but oh my God, $71 million? Let this be a lesson to Hollywood. Not everything can be turned into a live action film. Don't be afraid to go all animated and make it an animated movie. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a good point. It could have been an animated movie, or like I said, you could have been practical and used makeup and the actual cat suits. I mean, those looked weird in the original musical, but it could have been a whole lot better than having to look at Jason Derulo's face painted on the Rum Tum Tugger and James Corden, which I'm gonna be for real. Why is James Corden in this movie? Does he really think, oh, just because I do carpool karaoke, that makes me eligible to do a musical? My dude, you are a late night talk show host. That's like having, I don't know. Well, Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon are the exception because, I mean, Jimmy Fallon, he was an SNL cast member, and Jimmy Kimmel, he's done a ton of stuff with Adam Carolla and Comedy Central. But I digress. But let me go back to these reactions. Here's a local DJ. Oh, who's this from? Abra Collage. It's a photo. What is this? Here's a local DJ trying his best to like the Cats movie at the gala premiere. There's many cats in this movie. You will definitely find one that you like. Kind of. I guess. I mean, I did like Mr. Mistopheles. I thought he was cool. What else? I saw Cats yesterday. Who's this from? Sophie Delish, at Sophie Delish on Twitter. I saw Cats yesterday and I wrote down every question that popped in my head as I watched the movie. What makes you a Jellicle cat? What is a Gumby cat? Why are the cats so small? That's another thing I want to talk about. Oh my god. Okay, I'm going to take a break from that. The scaling on every single one of the cats. Some of them would be so teeny tiny, and then they would just grow to be like normal size, kind of, sort of. And it just made no sense. I've never met a cat that tiny, unless it was like a kitten. Like a real life cute kitten that you see, you pick up, you pet. Yeah. But I don't know what they were doing with that. Like I said, it just made no sense. And you can tell I'm losing stuff to say because when I saw that, I was like, why are they shrinking and growing and shrinking and growing? That is just bad filmmaking right there. Did they CGI Jennifer Hudson's tears? Oh, yeah, they did. They did. I'm like, oh, that is not good. Why did James Corden say he was sensitive about his size when he was just singing a whole song about how he loves to be fat? Yeah, that makes no sense. Why do some of them wear sneakers and some... Yeah, okay. There's this... If you've seen the movie, there are parts where they're wearing Converse and dancing around. And I'm like, where did you get those? I mean... Oh my god. All right. So I'm going to go on to another tweet from @VirusKid. Cats 2019 is a movie that justifies God's decision to abandon humanity to our own devices. It is a movie that will actively destroy any semblance of hope within your being. A movie created in order to drive our race into a state of despair never before seen. And then the rest is the thread about the review of the movie. And the last thing I want to talk about, the Cats movie. Okay. So I'm pretty sure in the original musical, you know, there are the mice and there are the cockroaches. They did the CG method with the mice and cockroaches. And what you get are terrifying little mice children, which when I saw that part, I had every hair stand up on my back. And I prayed that I would never have to see that ever again. But then in that same scene, they bring out the cockroaches, and that happened to be the most laziest CG job you could do. Literally, all they did was cut, copy, paste their faces onto some little roach bodies. I lost all hope of humanity after seeing that scene, and I all I could do is scream in my head, scream into madness. Man, oh man. So, all in all, Cats. Listen, I'm just going to say this right there. Cats is the example of what not to do when adapting a big musical, and also learning the lesson that CG, you don't have to go overboard with it, which most certainly they did. And what do you get out of that? A total apocalyptic nightmare that no human being should ever have to witness whatsoever. All right, well, delving away from the nightmare show that was Cats 2019, I figured I'd take this time and talk a little bit about my experiences with music and how I just constantly am looking for new Spotify playlists almost every day while listening to my usual ones. So I started playing piano when I was at least 6 or 7 years old, and I remember absolutely hating it. I absolutely hated playing the piano. I thought it was the dorkiest thing ever. And there's actually a family photo of me in my onesie pajamas. They were red. I remember this somehow because every time I look at it, it's the most saddest photo you ever see of me bawling, crying at the piano, just playing it. Oh, yeah, those were the times. But over time, because initially it was my folks who wanted me to start playing piano, and I did not like it, but as time grew on, it opened me up to playing music, and it wasn't until I think maybe 2006, when I was 12 years old, I wanted to play guitar. And this drive started when I first saw Green Day's Bullet in a Bible DVD and the live album that came with it. But when I saw that that show that they did in Milton Keynes in England, I was totally inspired, and I wanted to be like Billy Joe Armstrong. Those are like, whenever I tell people when they ask like, hey, who are the guitarists that got you started? I tell them 3 guitarists. Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day, Kurt Cobain, and Adam Jones from Tool. And ever since then, I still play guitar to this day, and in my guitar collection, I have a Martin acoustic electric. I'm not sure the exact number, the serial number on there, the model number, but I play that. That's my main acoustic. And then I got 2 electric guitars. I have a Gibson Les Paul Studio from the year 2000. It's all black, ebony fretboard. There's only one inlay on the 12th fret. It's like a star with a crescent moon. And on the back of the headstock is a portrait of Gibson's founder, Orville Gibson. And when I got this guitar as a 8th grade graduation present, the guy at the store actually mentioned that portrait was actually used at his funeral, which was like, oh man, I need to get this guitar. And I did, and I still love playing that thing. And then recently, I think was it 1 or 2 years ago, I have my Fender Stratocaster, my custom Strat, that seafoam green, reverse headstock, maple neck, pearl inlays, EMG X pickups. It is the craziest looking guitar I've ever played and I've ever seen. because at that same Starving Musician in San Jose, California, when I first saw this guitar hanging really high above a couple of other Fender instruments, I was just like, oh, I absolutely need this. And I played it for a bit, played some clean stuff, and yeah, I still play that. Although I do need to get the EMG pickups, need to get the battery replaced, and I'm just going to have to make a trip to Guitar Center one of these days because it's starting to crackle a little bit. And then I have my two basses. I have a Squier Jaguar bass and a Squier Jazz bass, 5-string one with active pickups. And I used to play in a band called Her Last Letter. We were a post-hardcore, metalcore kind of band. So if you're into bands that are like A Day to Remember, Seosin, Amity Affliction, Pierce the Veil, you probably have a general idea of what we'd sound like. We had an EP released back in 2016, originally on Bandcamp, and then 2017 on iTunes and Spotify. It's a self-titled EP with 5 songs. And I was the bassist in that band, and you can hear my bass playing all over that EP. And shout out to my buddy, Mike Keller, who was more than happy to produce the EP for us. He was actually, when I first moved into the Bay Area, I found him on Craigslist. Well, rather, me and my dad did, because I was still taking guitar lessons, and we actually found Mike, who lived very close from me, like almost down the street. And, he showed me some stuff, and, because he was getting me into more progressive metal kind of stuff. So we're doing a lot of Dream Theater, a lot of Genty kind of stuff, like Meshuggah. We dabbled in that. And then I remember one day taking a trip up to his house and going upstairs to his studio, his home studio. And we recorded something, which I need to ask him if he still has that, because I would love to use that for a song that me and project me and my buddy Eddie are trying to get started as well. But so I was in that band for about 3.5 years, and I was let go, unfortunately, mainly because I relocated to Ripon, California, which is way over in the Central Valley, like an hour out of Sacramento. And it was a lot harder to get to practice a lot. And I was also working a job where I had 12 to 14 hour shifts. So there were some times where I couldn't even make practice. So, when I got that news, it was not fun to hear. And as much as I wanted to fight it and be like, no, I can still do this, I can prove to you guys, blah, 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 blah. In the end, they already made the decision that they made. And sometimes you just got to take that L. Just got to take that L and move on. But you know what? Best of luck to them. I still talk to them here and there. And, hope they come out with some killer tunes. And currently I'm working on a project with my buddy Eddie. We're trying to get a band started within the new year coming up. And we're going to get closer and closer because we're going to spend the next couple of days when we meet up songwriting and pumping out some heavy tunes, some heavy, chuggy breakdown tunes for everyone. But alrighty, moving on. We're going to delve into what I usually listen to on Spotify. And if anyone has any Spotify playlist recommendations they can shoot at me, you can do so. Send me an email at plushrobotpodcast@gmail.com. All right, so on my heavy rotation, I mainly listen to a playlist called Anti-Pop. So you got everything from Oliver Tree, Brockhampton, Emotional Oranges, 88 Rising, Joji, Rich Brian, Dominic Fike, Blood Orange. I love that kind of alternative hip hop, R&B, like very indie sounding, angsty kind of music. Like especially the best boy band since One Direction, Brockhampton. I just think they're all so talented in what they do. And got some really heavy hitting songs. Every single song on the Saturation trilogy. Couple songs on Iridescence I kind of enjoy. That was not entirely my favorite album, but Ginger, when that album dropped, oof. Talk about banger after banger. No Halo, Sugar, Boy Bye, If You Pray Right. Such good ass songs right there. I got a Lush playlist called Lush Lo-Fi, all 100% lo-fi hip-hop, and I usually listen to this in my car when I'm driving to work and coming back home, or if I'm outside in my backyard smoking my backwoods cigars or my Swisher Sweets, having a little drink. It's actually very relaxing to listen to. And let's see. Got another playlist called Sad Bops. So, oh yeah, we got it all. We got all that sad music. We got Joji. We got Daniel Caesar. Billie Eilish. I love Billie Eilish. She is so... I really do believe she is really talented. And she's only 18 years old. And her whole album is just this real... emotional, sometimes creepy sounding pop. Like, you know what? God bless her. I'm glad she's doing well. And let me see another one. What's on my daily mix? Let me take a look at the one that has Slipknot on it. Let's see. Slipknot, Korn, KMFDM, Limp Bizkit for some reason. Whatever. Not the biggest fan of Limp Bizkit, but you know what? God bless you if you do. Let's see. Daily Mix 3. I think this is what I was listening to on my way home from getting gas. The Weeknd, Drake, Russ. Oh my God, Russ. Love his stuff. John Legend. Majid Jordan, Frank Ocean, oh my goodness. Blonde. If you want to get a good listen of Frank Ocean, if you ever get a chance, I definitely recommend Channel Orange, but Blonde to me is like his absolute masterpiece. Such a great album, especially the song Pink and White. Listen to that song when you're just lounging in your backyard or wherever. It's such a vibing kind of song. And the one group, what I absolutely love about Spotify is whenever you discover new music, there's one group that I found on one of my playlists called Always Never, and I guess they're from Canada? Hang on one second. Doing a little my own research here. Don't really have a Jamie like Joe Rogan. Let's see. Always Never. Yeah, they're from Toronto, Canada. And I guess they're a duo, and they have this one song that comes up on, I think it's my Tender. Is it Tender or is it All the... No, it's All the Feels. On my All the Feels playlist. It's called Wylan. And I always listen to this song when it's the dead of night. It's super dark out, and I'm just smoking a cigar, and I'm just like totally in a Zen mode whenever listening to that song. I think one of many songs that does that for me. It's that one, and also First Take by Travis Scott. Like, I get into such a very relaxed zone. It's just like very otherworldly to talk about. Like, hell, I don't need drugs to have fun. I just need good music and my smokes, and that's all I really need. All right, that's going to do it for our episode tonight of Plush Robot. I know things seem a little rough around the edges at first, but this is the first episode. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them at plushrobotpodcast@gmail.com. Also, check out my music at purpledolphin.bandcamp.com to check out all my Purple Dolphin music. And you can follow me on Twitter, my personal Twitter, at SpaceDragonZach. All right, guys, this is Zach, signing off. Peace.